China, as we all know, has been the disruptor, the rupture from over a decade ago to the international system. The shocks that Beijing has imposed around the world has been something that Canadians have had to struggle with in their day-to-day life, in our trade security, our sovereignty, and our ability to carry on in our strategic alliances. What we have learned in recent studies is that Beijing is a primary threat to Canada's Arctic. The Canadian Security Intelligence Service confirmed this assessment at the House of Commons Standing Committee on Foreign Affairs and International Development on February 14, underscoring the growing strategic challenge posed by China's expanding presence in the north. And so I'm very grateful for this report that I think every parliamentarian, policymaker, minister, and Canadian should read. It is a report that discovers some significant gaps, as Elizabeth has described just now. Surveillance and domain awareness gaps. Canada's northern surveillance infrastructure is outdated, and slow modernization under the North American Aerospace Defense Command, NORAD, leaves Canada underprepared to detect unconventional threats. Second, investment and infrastructure screening gaps. The Investment Canada Act does not adequately capture unsolicited or subnational foreign infrastructure offers, particularly those directed at Indigenous or territorial governments. Third, scientific and technological presence. China uses science diplomacy to advance data gathering and infrastructure projects with potential dual-use applications. Fragmented federal coordination has left openings for exploitation, and they must be closed immediately. Fourth, maritime awareness gaps. Canada's incomplete maritime domain awareness means increased vessel traffic, particularly by state-affiliated operators, may go undetected, especially if supported by foreign-financed dual-use infrastructure. Let's not be naive about this. China is not an Arctic nation, yet claims to try and be one. China's commercial efforts in Greenland and elsewhere is a project of weaponized commerce. It has proven as such over the last decade in regions around the world, as has already been described. And fifth, finally, policy gap. While Canada's Arctic and Northern Policy Framework and NORAD modernization commitments are steps forward, they are not keeping pace with the immediacy of China's expanding Arctic sovereignty. Beijing is not waiting for Canada to catch up. Its polar research vessels, deep-sea monitoring systems, and state-directed Arctic strategy are already operational. While Liberals debate frameworks and timelines, the CCP in Beijing is moving quietly, deliberately, and with strategic intent. Canada must recognize the threat with clear eyes and act accordingly.